Welcome to Vampire the Masquerade Shadows of New York, and we've been tasked by the Prince and the Primogen Council to do some legwork for them. Welcome, I'm King Priam by night, and we're playing Julia, the La Sombra representative of New York City. We've been tasked by the Camarilla to do some investigation because the Anarch Baron was killed earlier this night. And our partner in crime is Catherine Wise, and we're just leaving. We're here. She thanks the chauffeur and lets me out of the car into a quiet neighborhood somewhere in Queens. Seemed like you were in a rush. I couldn't stand the crowd. She's honest, probably performative so, just to get into my good graces. Well, it's working. And why is that? In my experience, gatherings like those always enable a boring pack mentality. All the familiar lies we tell ourselves to justify lusting for more repeated ad nuisance. What lies are you telling yourself? Yesterday you said, I need guidance. We don't need to seem weak, I think. And what lies? I'm not sure if she's telling lies or not. So yesterday you said. Speaking of lies, you seem honest, but yesterday you told me not to rush. And I stand by it. Do as I say, not as I do. That's the best advice I can give you. I definitely need more advice than that. Back at Art Hall, you said something about guiding me, but I have zero idea what to do. None whatsoever. I had a few necessary arrangements to make over the phone before we got here to ensure pretty little head stays attached to your neck, for now anyway. I'm grateful, but I still feel way out of my depth. I need to know what to do. You used to make a living as an investigative journalist, did you not? Investigate murder. And in shows where an investigative journalist gets too close to the heart of a political incendiary case, it rarely goes well. A cat's head on the porch, a bullet to the head. So are you afraid you might be a pawn in a game that you don't understand? That your elders consider you a disposable asset? That a single wrong move might cost you everything you hold dear? That sounds about right, yeah? Well, by the sound of it, you understand your situation perfectly. Don't belittle me. I need your advice. Be anything you want, but don't be boring, Julia. If I wanted to belittle you, I would have drowned you in platitudes long ago. Know thyself. Believe in your strength. Trust no one. Act confident. Turn the chessboard around and read your opponent's mind. Read Sun Tzu and quote him incessantly. Say, do you feel any better now? Can I ask you something? Seeing as me is still not here, of course. Do you know who killed Baron Callahan? I haven't the slightest idea. Were you emotionally impacted by his death? Not at all. Did you know him? Only passingly, I'm afraid. I expected him to perish sooner than later, so I never bothered to improve our relationship. Why are you helping me? Am I? That remains to be seen. What do you mean? Do you not want a painful honest answer? But I do. She stares me down. Her irreverent tone makes it impossible to get what she's feeling, even more so than the mask. When I look at you, I see someone pitiful, someone whose hunger is purely biological, just an animalistic rush. When I saw a burgeoning plan to put you in a situation that is way beyond your capabilities, I offered my help. I was curious to see your true colors reveal themselves firsthand. When everything is said and done and Callahan's killer is pointed out, will you be a whimpering animal or a victor taking the spoils? I cannot wait to find out. I don't know what to say. Is she provoking me or... Mia should be here any second. You have time for one more question. What makes you important? And who is Maya? And why do you hide your face? I'm actually curious to know why she is hiding her face, but I think this choice is the most interesting one. What do you do to hold so much sway over the city? I have the best occupation in the world, and I made sure nobody's better at it than I am. And that occupation is a socialite. And that was your last question. Direct the rest of them to her. A woman around my age emerges from around the corner of the street. Wow, she looked punked up and angry and intense. Might be a bruja, if I am guessing the right. So let's see what she might say to us and if she gonna help us with the investigation or not. I never met her before, but if I had to describe her in 2 words by her aura alone, I'd guess those words would be permanently angry, even more so than your average Anarch. You must be Catherine Weiss, and you must be Mia Morgan. Pleasure to make your acquaintance. The pleasure is mutual. This your girl? Julia Sovinsky, the La Sombra Primogen. The La Sombra representative. I correct her automatically. At this point, it's on habit. Good, if you were a Primogen, I might have tried to kill you here and now. Is Torque still on the site? Nah, I told him I'd take it from here. By the end of tonight, he needs to look like a natural candidate for the leaders of the New York City Anarchs. It's gonna take a lot of trying around and negotiating. How did he react to finding Callahan's remains? He hasn't exactly elaborated on his feelings, but I expect he reacted the same way every true believer in the cause did. It's this complicated mess of all the possible feelings under the moon. So he was the first one who to the murder site? Oh, so you're already calling it a murder site. Does the Ivory Tower know something we don't? It's not the official position, but I expect a lot of them think it's Torque who stood to benefit the most from the boss death. And it sounds like he's quick to jump on the new opportunities. You don't know him. Yes, but I'd love to meet him and ask him some questions, especially if he was the one who found the body. Well, if you're meeting Torque at all, it won't be tonight. He's too busy. I was assigned to investigate. I won't be able to do it properly if I'm not able to question a key witness. I'll arrange for him to see you this week. This week? Aren't the tension a little too high for delaying an investigation like this? Well, Torque's work is our best shot at making sure they won't get any higher, so boo fucking who. I'm his right-hand woman, though. You got any questions, direct them to me. Maybe the two of you should just head to Callahan's office. The discussion here does not seem to be going in the right direction, nor in a particularly interesting one. You're not coming. Torken, you are not the only ones who have their work cut out for them tonight. I trust you take it from here. And Mia, be easy on her. In slightly different circumstances, I expect the two of you would have ended up on the same side of the barricades. Take care. She heads back to her vehicle. Well, follow me, I'll show you his place. It's a 19th century style office, classical, wooden, smelly, the stuffy air of books and old furniture, and dust covers much of the fragrance of decay, but not all of it. This is the first time I've seen the remains of a vampire who has met final death. I heard stories of real old kindred crumbling to dust. But that's an exaggeration. At least it didn't happen here. When kindred die, time catches up with them. If you off me right now, I probably turn to ugly, leaky corpse. But Callan was well over a century old. It looks like looking at a diaper mummy. A desiccated body in a heap of musty clothes. All that is left of mighty boss Douglas Callahan, Anarch Baron of New York City, if that's really him. Needless to say, it might be a little hard to establish the time of death or the cause, especially as his garb doesn't have any obvious damage. What a great place to start. Have you already found anything suspicious? Nothing you don't see in front of you. This door, the only point of entry to the room, right? Yes, unless you count the windows, but nobody except for Callahan knew how to operate those, and they don't let air or light through. Metal blinders on the window facing east, the only modern element of the room, sticking out like a sore thumb. They look automated. Was the door open when Torque got there? Well, that's one suspicious thing. It wasn't. It's as if Callahan locked himself in from the inside. Closed room murder, There's some glass scattered on the floor. I point at it. Could that be from the window? I checked it from the outside. It's perfect condition. So, what's this glass? I have no idea. Why does it seem like she has her suspicions, but is remaining uncooperative just because, oh, fuck off, Camarilla scum? I checked the next point of the interest. A wall safe, surprisingly large. I play with the lock a bit. What's the combination? It's Callahan's. What makes you think I know? At least I tried. A desk with nothing but an envelope on it, nothing inside. I check all the drawers. Every single one has been thoroughly emptied. I don't know what I expected. Is this how the Anarch go around securing crime scenes? Were these empty before Torque arrived? I don't know, but I wouldn't accuse him of tampering with evidence if I were you. Well, thank you. The decor of the room is pretty minimal, so there's not a lot of point of interest that could illuminate the case. I start getting nervous. I point at the painting on the wall. Of course, you have no idea who that is. Callahan's ancestor, I guess. I'm out of ideas. Everything I look at feels like another dead end. I'm frustrated. I feel as if I failed this investigation before it even started. There must be something more. I start walking around, trying to find a single clue. Mia just watches me indifferently. Give me anything. Anything, goddammit. Anything. And who might you be? A ghost that we saw earlier in the club? A shadow blinks out in and out of existence near Callahan's remains. I freeze in place. Just wait, do nothing. Don't be afraid. Are you trying to help me? I don't know if a ghost can be afraid, and just waiting is, I don't think, a good option, so let's try to lure some information out of her, or him. Are you trying to help me? What are you mumbling about? In case you missed it, I'm not particularly fond of your sect. Doesn't seem like Mia noticed it. Give me just a moment more. She growls under her nose and goes back to messaging someone on her phone. When she does, the shadow appears again. Once again, blink in, blink out. Could something be there? I approach the clothes and start searching for a clue. Maybe they miss something. Getting desperate, Just being thorough. We searched the bastard like 3 times. He had nothing on interest on him. How about this? A small card, barely noticeable, looking a bit like a shopping list, is shoved deep into an almost invisible hole in the fabric. I take it out and show it to Mia. You didn't plant that there, did you? No, did you? Shove off, what's on it? It's a list of 4 names. D'Angelo, Hope, Agathon, Tamika. Any idea what this is about? Beats me. She's lying, but I don't care. Tomorrow night I will meet up with Kadir and ask him to help me figure it out. Think I'm done now here. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Guess she sees me as nothing more but an enemy agent. When will I get to meet Torque? If, and that's a big if, he will agree to meet you on a one-on-one basis, Catherine will let you know. He probably won't let a loyal Camarilla lapdog like you see him without her oversight anyway. A Camarilla lapdog, eh? It's a risky play, of course, and might backfire, but maybe I'd benefit if I put my loyalty to the court in question. Camarilla lapdog? I don't think so. Nah, not worth it. Yeah, political play. Let's do the switcheroo. Both side play? Yeah. A Camarilla lapdog? Please. Well, aren't you? Trust me, I'm not the type who bites the hand that feeds her, but the court's favorite pastime is leaving me starved. Ah, so it's like that, huh? Yeah. She studies me carefully. I will keep that in mind depending on how the situation unfolds. Good, in the meantime, have a good night. You too. It's getting late, or early, depending on how you look at it. Once I leave Kallian's office, I head straight to Dakota's apartment. I try to sneak by to my bedroom, but she's up waiting for me. How was your night? Shit. Tomorrow. What happened? You look like something the cat dragged in? Tomorrow, I promise. But I'm worried. Don't be. Tomorrow. She gives a concerned look, then closes her eyes, slumps her shoulders and frowns. All right. You're the best. I reach my pitch-black room and throw myself on the bed. The responsibilities, the stakes, the way I always feel too slow to react properly in these situations. I don't want to think. I want to turn off my brain. I want to drift into the void. Into the void. Into the void. Into the void. You have received your first trade. Some choices in the game will push Yulas toward different ways of thinking, which will have a lasting effect on her throughout the story. Interesting. Okay, didn't expect that. Okay. You will see a brief pop-up on the top of the screen anytime you receive a new trait. You can always view any unlocked traits in the log screen, accessed through the top left icon. Remember that ruthlessness is the mark of a true La Sombra, but you might walk another path before reaching that destination. Always told you'd make it big? Get real, these assholes are just using me as a pawn in some stupid 4th-dimensional chess game. As opposed to just keeping you off the chessboard, don't be a glass-half empty buzzkill. Watch them make me a scapegoat or something. That would be exciting. I would write a book about living with a 21st century Lee Harvey Oswald. Come on, don't even joke like that, I haven't killed anyone. Julia, honey, neither did Oswald. Yeah, right, I keep forgetting. Stop wriggling or I'll mess your face up. Sorry. I'm always obedient when she's busy working on my makeup. It's hard to take care of your appearance, especially your face, when you can't even see yourself in the mirror. Not that I've ever been particularly good at it, but Dakota doesn't seem to mind. I'm her goth dress-up doll. Her presence in my own life is one of the few good things that my sire provided for me before fucking off to Chicago. Normally I've been told to find myself a ghoul, but many of our clan, myself included, finds the idea of ghouls distasteful. We're cat people, not dog people. We don't want mindlessly faithful servants. We want companions who rely on us, despite having, in theory anyway, the free will not to. The kind of a relationship I have with Dakota would normally be a breach of the Masquerade rules, but the rules are different from kindred who are Camarilla adjacent, even looser like me. Simplifying here, but my sire made it clear that her child would not own slaves, and that was the end of the discussion. To be honest, I think the court mostly agreed to that request, because they wanted one more thing to blackmail me with, just in case. What would you do in my place? If I had to investigate your elite's wrongdoings? Yeah. I'd probably look for those rich fucks pedophile rings. Look for the assholes who mention pizza suspiciously often. See who has powerful friends in Manhattan jail, stuff like that. Oh, come on. No, I'm serious, search for the deep rot, and a lot of smaller crimes will get solved in the process. What is it with you and conspiracy theories? What do you mean? You just told me your bosses are having eyes wide shut parties and suddenly you don't believe in rich people pedophile rings? I don't know. I don't know if I want to know. My point is, you act as if all the conspiracy theories are real. Like, you can't possibly believe all that shit. Half of it doesn't even make sense. Well, you want an interesting answer or a real answer? The real answer would be the more interesting one. She removes her brush from my face to gather her thoughts. Everyone's lost nowadays. Just look at the world. It's drowning in fact that fails to cohere into a single convincing narrative, or a story that resonates. The corporate media wants to believe in empirical thinking, but it always fails to deliver moral or metaphysical truths, and the people desperately lack those. So what do? They turn to conspiracists, and suddenly they're able to navigate the world. And why is that? Because conspiracy theory gives them emotional truths that serve as a compass. Is Bill Gates trying to insert satanic microchips into my body? Probably not. I hope not. Now, is he a terrible person? No idea. But there's an ample evidence that might be the case. It's in his ruthless business strategy, the company he used to keep, the philosophy he follows. People look at him and they feel he's fishy. And so when the media present him as a genius or savior, and I post that he wants to put the mark on the beast of my body, they choose to believe him. Me. Because it makes moral, emotional and metaphysical sense to them. And ultimately, that's what matters most. The end. Okay, I think I get it. No, I didn't buy it. No, I don't buy it, I think. We'll go with this one. I don't buy it, like, at all, but since you're saying it, I will say it's cute. Good enough for me. You came up with this monologue yourself? Oh no, I read it from Facebook. Oh, figures. But just to make sure, vaccines are okay? Well, as far as I know, they don't cause autism. Good to hear. Anywho, I'm done. You're the best. Yeah, considering how many times I've done the makeup on a dead body, I probably have enough job experience to be a mortician by now. Now that sounds like an exciting career, but in reality it is probably the most boring thing under the sun. Yeah, I like my corpses talkative, pouty and self-loading. Shut up, this carcass will be leaving now. It's got a job to do. Go get him, tiger! First thing I need to do, meet up with Kadir tonight and report to him. I hope he knows how to guide me out of this mess. He should have time for me in an hour or two. In the meantime, I suppose it's time to find some, what's the most dehumanizing word I can use here? Nourishment. Kadir told me I need to quench my hunger less often if I didn't smoke. It kills you, he said, but to start killing itself, your organism must pretend it's alive, and that uses up precious vitae. But I love cigarettes. The way they smell, the way they burn, the hot ash falling from the top, the sound of the lighter. The way they kill you, of course. And I guess I need some tactile connection to who I was back when I were alive. Okay, New York City, guide my steps. Show me which one of your children I should drink up tonight. So another option. Let's see. Diva's Delight. A fitting name for a kiss addict audacious enough to openly pinch your unique taste to those in the know. I'm not in a clubbing mood, but since I need to feed, might as well give that rumor a shot. A slap on the wrist. Samira is asking me to meet her, if not for the ongoing celebration. The patrician would probably an odd choice for a secret rendezvous. Here's hoping she can provide some useful insight into the case. Samira is interesting. Gonna keep that in mind. Bonnie as a reporter. The note left at my old dead drop point reads, Bonnie as a reporter. Shit, could it be Woods? Long time no see. What does one do when the ghost of Christmas past knock on her door? Well, I think we'll go with the feeding. She implied she's hungry, so let's do that one. Even when this is interesting, Samira meeting. And also this is interesting. But yeah, let's go with a feeding round to be full. No blood, no matter how exquisite, is worth suffering through this noise. Something terrible must have happened to the previous DJ. It had to be sudden and unexpected for them to hire this amateur under the wire. Zero ability to read the crowd, no sense of flow, as if that constant flashing wasn't migraine inducing enough by itself. Not that I remember how an ordinary headache feels. I know the hunger though, which is why I'm here tonight. A purple-haired girl bumps into me, head down, tears flowing down her cheeks, hands trembling. As much as I'd understand it, I don't think it's the guy at the turntable that made her like this. Off. Oh, I'm sorry, so sorry, She bolts before I can say a single word. Well, who am I to blame her? A tactical retreat probably felt like a good idea. The trace of cheap booze in every potential vessel is faint, but ever present. At this point, the smell is all that I'm getting. Come to think of it, I can barely remember how alcohol tastes. Maybe I should remind myself. That's dumb. But the bar's pretty much free of people at the moment. I get closer and take a peek at the drinks menu. These are some goofy fucking names, especially from a kindred's perspective. Order the Bloody Margaret. Order the Vampiro. Yeah. Let's put the menu back. I think that's the option. We don't get the alcohol nourishment other through the blood, and we need to be sharp senses tonight, I feel. Most of my kin can't stomach the liquor, any fluid other than blood, or food really. I got no reason to believe I'm different. I close the drink menu and pass it along to some juppy drunkard. He seems overjoyed and, to the bartender's dismay, ordered the fanciest drink on offer. The music abruptly stops just as I step away from the bar. I can't see the booth, but the crowd reacts, tells me all I need to know. Looks like we have a new DJ. The vibe immediately improves. Hallelujah. But pleasant moment never lasts. Some well-worn dude on the wrong side of 40 decides to hit me up. Our eyes meet for a brief moment, slightly too late for me to outmaneuver him. Strangely, there's no lust in his gaze, and yet he seems like a predator closing in on its prey. Shit, could be the rumored diva's delight? A kiss addict clocking me as a bloodsucker? How come you're here all alone, sweetheart? I can't pinpoint exactly what it is, but there's something irking in the way he carries himself. As he approaches me, I begin to feel fatigued, like there was a sudden drop in atmospheric pressure. Tell him to piss off, glare until he goes away, just ignore him. Let's just glare. I gave him a purely hateful glare, but I find it weirdly stanchious to keep my eyes on him for longer than a few seconds. There's something about him that ruins the little composure I have. I think he knows that. I feel spiders crawling up my spine. Is there something wrong here? Let me? Hands off, asshole! So, dominate or potence? Potence for strength or dominate for the mind tricks? Let's do the strength one, I think. I grab him by the wrist in a tight grip and start twisting until I feel the snap of a dislocated joint. He screams in pain, but for fortunate it drowns it out. As soon as I let go of his hand, he runs for the exit. He stares me down before leaving, and I can't help but sense something worse than fear in his eyes. Makes me feel uncomfortable. Time to bail, not look back. Right before I reach the exit, the purple-gear girl from earlier bumps into me once again. This time, I've known it's not coincidental. Wait, please. She seems startled, but gives me a pleading look. I saw what you did to that man. Are you one of them? What you talking about? Who's them? She bares her teeth and taps the side of her neck. Oh, I get it. So you're the diva's delight. She blushes innocently, like I just caught her stealing cookies. Yes, it sounds silly, I know, but I thought I would attract some of your kind. I've always been told that tastes good. Would you like to try? She looks at me in the same way a junkie who hasn't had his hit for a while looks at a syringe. You know too much. There's no way you don't have a patron of sorts. Her eyes tears up again. I do, but maybe I don't. I don't know anymore. He shows up whenever he wants, then disappears for weeks. I don't even know his name. We were supposed to meet here tonight, but I guess he didn't show up. The girl keeps talking. Now that she has found somebody new to open up to, any instinct she might have had to remain secretive is gone. Makes you wonder who thought it was a good idea to breach the Masquerade for her. Before him, I used to have a caregiver. She was one of the divas too, but she was exceptionally noble. I think she cared about me in a way. She always complimented the way I tasted. Would you like to try? She clings to my arm like a Jesus Christ and Kurt Cobain at the same time. Descended from heaven exclusively to turn her misery to bliss. I can't help but feel some disdain. Please, I promise you won't be disappointed. I know I won't be. I'm too hungry for that. But I also like to pretend I'm something better than hungry from time to time. But let's take the feeding opportunity. That's what we were here for. The hunger gets the better of me, but somehow I don't mind. This is what you want, isn't it? A quick look around, nobody was paying attention. Why would they? We're just two random girls who seems to be into each other. I can't grab the back of her head, putting my lips closer to her neck. She visibly trembles with excitement. As I bite down, her body softens. Then I drink, savoring each sip. She really tastes incredible, like an unfilled promise. Sweet, sweet innocence. As soon as I'm done, she loses her footing, weakened, but undoubtedly relieved. I help her sit down on the floor. She smiles at me, joy glinting in her eyes. Thank you, I really needed that. My name's... Don't talk, just rest for a while. I leave her alone in this state of bliss. She doesn't seem to mind. It looks like I did the right thing. Right? I leave the booming sounds of the club behind me and get on with my night. So we can pick another one. Interesting. I thought we were going to Kadir, so if not, I think we will go with Samira. She seemed really interesting. A clean-cut staff member dressed in an impeccable company uniform smiles at me as the elevator doors opens. Good evening, ma'am. Meeting someone? I dismiss his question a pathetic shrug. He sized me up for a brief moment, visible question my fashion sense. However, his professional acumen quickly trumps his discontent. Very well, this way, please. New York City, New York's rich seems awfully starving for a gourmet soup this late at night. The patrician is packed almost to the brim. The concierge points me over to the last vacant table, conveniently situated in the far-off corner of the main hall. I nestle in the chair, letting my elbows rest on the ornate tablecloth, watching out. Obviously white collars. There's some black widow in your midst. Well, I'm here. Might as well kick back and die of boredom. Yeah. I really need something to occupy my mind. Call the concierge. Figure out why Samira asked you to come. Have a smoke and examine the place. I don't know if we can know with watching what Samira asked her to come here for. Concierge is a little boring type, so why not smoke? She enjoyed the feeling as she described it before. A pretentious atmosphere gradually begins to creep under my skin, straining my mind and dulling my awareness. I take a peek into my trusty medicine pack. 2 cancer sticks left. A casual light one, paying no mind to the scornful looks of nearby patrons. The aura enveloping this place is suffocating. Everyone here seems to so incredible toffee-nosed, as if they were destined for greatness by sheer virtue of their birth. Airs and graces everywhere you look. An adorned hamster cage where everyone is trying either to suck up to their betters or get their asses kissed by overeager underlings. The fact that I find this so pathetic is probably part of the reason why I never amounted to anything. C'est la vie. As I take another whiff, I notice a well-groomed staff member, a manager, I guess, gazing at me from behind his horn rims. He is competent enough to keep up appearance, but I can tell he's on the warpath. Begrudgingly put out a cigarette, eyeballing him until he yields, give him the cold shoulder. Let's just ignore him. I think that's a good option. It takes me more than a pissy attitude to score a victory against me. I turn my back on him in a gesture of blatant disregard. I'm hoping he won't misinterpret. As I continue to scan my surroundings, I notice the concierge answering a phone call and frantically jotting down a note. Good. Get back to work, buddy. Just at the thought of leaving crossing my mind, he glances at me briefly before hanging up. The concierge quickly closes in on me, dancing habitually between the tables, and addresses me before I can even utter a single word. Excuse me, ma'am, are you Miss Sowinski by any chance? As soon as I nod, he hands me a carefully folded memo and leaves. For how quickly he scribbled it down, the note is impeccable calligraphy. It reads, the manager at this establishment insulted the Camarilla Sartori with his negligence. Even though it's minor, his transgression must be penalized. I would like you to assist me in this matter. Such a display of goodwill on your part would surely improve his standing with the higher-ups. Choose an appropriate, non-lethal punishment. S. Well, this is disappointing. It was a high order to expect any help with the investigation, I guess. Instead, just another chore. The best I can hope for is that this really is just a friendly request and not a deliberate attempt to derail my work this early in the game. Damn it. Might as well get it done, since I'm already here, so I can move on with more pressing stuff. I swiftly approach the manager and tap him on the shoulder. He furrowed his brow as soon as he noticed me. I'm afraid I'm busy, and one of the waiting staff should be able to... We have something to discuss. The VIP lounge now, if you please. His face loses color. Maybe it has dawned on him that I'm even paler than the other blue-blooded guests. He immediately becomes compliant as I escort him through a side door. The room isn't empty, but its guests are just leaving. Nobody pays me any attention. The manager is as polite as I can be as he sees the patrons out, but I can see he's clearly losing his shit. He quietly asks one of his staff to give me 5 minutes in the lounge. Gingerly closes the door behind him. Then the pleading starts. Listen, I screwed up. I shouldn't have let him in. How could I know he's not one of the proper clients? I don't give a... Listen, hey! I would never implore you. I have children. For Jesus' sake, Christ's sake, there must be something, an arrangement, a way to... He just goes on as if I'm not even here. With each subsequent whimper, he becomes more and more irritating. Lash out or explain. Let's try to find some information. The more information, the more power. That's the game. They tell us at least. Just shut up for a goddamn second. My outburst finally makes him hold his tongue. I light up the last cig in the pack and take a slow puff, trying to compose myself. I have no use for your explanation and justifications. I don't know what sort of transgressions you committed. I should never let this Sansaric guy in. And truth be told, I don't give a shit. I will never happen again. I swear on my mother's grave. I'm not that good of a judge of character, but him pleading with his arm out really makes him look like a biblical wayward son, swearing to change his way. Brand him. Let him off on a warning. Lash out. Wow. Okay. Wonder what this means. But yeah. Let's put a mark on him. I think that's a cool option. I grab your hand in a tight grip, palm up, and take a puff to rekindle the burning tip of my cigarette. He doesn't fight back. You and I both know they will want proof that I gave you a lesson you won't forget, so I hope you realize this is mercy. I put my smoke out on the palm of his hand today, accompanying of his muffled screams. His eyes become watery, but other than that, he takes it like a champ. If I have to come back to this shithole, next one will go right here. I look him in the eye, crassly flick his eyelid before taking off. I didn't know I was capable of this sort of cruelty, but here we are. Karen warned me that our something in bloodline finds swiveling weakling detestable. Is that what triggered me? But that's a conundrum for another occasion. I did what I was asked, and I've sure as hell wasted enough time here. I should move on. Alright, it's about time to head to see Kadir. Mighty kind of him to arrange a meeting in a place that most convenience for me. D'Angelo, Hope, Tamika, Agaton. I suppose that's better than nothing, but no evidence, really? Honestly, it feels like if someone has already cleaned up to most egregious stuff before I arrived. Sounds like the Arnarchs. I definitely try and check the place again, but I feel I'd need some sort of expert to accompany me, and advanced investigator who showed me the ropes, someone tall and handsome maybe. Yeah, if you don't mind a diplomatic incident, I'll go with you. Any better ideas? Actually, this very note gave me one, but I will need to set it up first. I will get back to you about that. You know these people? I had a passing contact with each of them, part and parcel of the job, you know? I suppose. Can you help me out with this? The way I tackle it would be look at one person on the list every night, ask around about them and see excuse me, and see what they know if you do manage to meet them. If I manage to meet them, they're not particularly easy to get a hold of, always prefer to be a little off the grid. But nowadays they're all practically hiding, if not missed in action or dead. Funny coincidence? It's not my job to speculate. In other words, he knows something, but is not at liberty to say. I guess I found out anyway, if I do meet them. And why one night each? Shouldn't I investigate every loose thread until we're satisfied? In a perfect world, you would have all the time you need, but this is not a perfect world. They'll try to brute force a solution to the case as soon as possible. I suspect that 4 nights from now, once the celebration of power are over, they ask for your findings and that will be all. Fucked up. To be brutally honest, my focus wouldn't be on solving the murder. Instead, I'm focused on not embarrassing yourself. Fucked up. This is part of why I don't want you to get involved. You couldn't possibly think or two had you involved out of the goodness of his heart. The entirety of your investigation is just for show. You were meant to be an unwitting actor. Maybe I really should call Mia and be like, you know what? Fuck these condescending ivory tower clowns. I want to work with you. But then again, if I was with the Onarchs, they'd probably delegate even shittier tasks to me. If, and that's really big if, they didn't think I was some kind of inside agent in the first place. Better stick to the Camarilla. But if they're hellbent on stabbing me in the back at every opportunity, maybe it's time to think about how I can repay the favor. Play dirty, no matter what Kadir thinks of it. After all, from where I'm standing now, there's no other way but up. A penny for your thoughts? I take a drag from my cigarette. I'm pissed off, that's just a Camarilla, no? Whatever. Yeah, actually, I think we could vent our feelings a bit. Kadir seems on our side in most of the cases. Thought, schmort, I'm angry. What did you expect? Something different from the norm, I suppose. My anger levels above the norm, I suppose. It's a nasty situation, but not one without a possible good ending in sight. So I hope you can channel that anger into something productive. I can try. Which should I go first? You should go with me. As it happens, I'm only out here because I was ordered to drive Ailing to the Arto. I guess the name of our protege? Oh, so that's who Agathon is? Or was? Nobody knows. It's a complicated thing, you'll see. I'm on the clock, so let's get a move on. Vin Diesel writes again. Still not done with this bit? Not while it's still bothering you. I'm leaving you behind if you don't keep up. As I already tell Kadir, and numerous times at that, I have no idea what happened to Agathon. The Broadway Chantry, part of the Chantry of the Five Boroughs, is Aisling's usual hangout place these past few nights. She's in a hurry and not willing to talk. Do you have any ideas about his connection to the kindred going by the names of Tamika, D'Angelo, and Hope? I don't. I made it a point to keep our relationship strictly professional one and never meddle in his personal affairs, unless they influence our work, that is. but it only happened one time. Oh yes, the infamous Juno case. About that Juno, were there any signs he's leaving? Was there any conflict? This is a little link to Cotters of New York if you haven't seen it. But so let's try to fish on more information about Juno. Could that Juno case be the reason he's missing? I seriously doubt it. For many reasons, I think the boys lost his appetite for studying blood magic and set out to do a little soul searching. It was quite rude of him not to give me a proper warning before they departed. Still, this line of work is not particularly favored by folks with a perfect grasp of savoir-vivre. I do hope his search will bring him back right where he started, begging me to take him back in. The boys is talented, and I did put a lot of time into mentoring him. If it does well, cuirassé sera, no skin off my back. So you won't even entertain a possibility that he found himself in harm's way? I know an answer to that one. How the researcher's mindset. She doesn't think it's worth considering the worst case scenario seriously, just takes the thing as they come. Precisely. If I were, for example, climate change scientists didn't operate this way, most would have put a bullet in their own heads long ago. That's a sheer thought. I like to search the chantry for Agathon's whereabouts. Our good sheriffs here already did that long ago. You just be wasting your time, and ours for that matter. Didn't you say Helen was waiting for us, Kadir? Give the girl 50 minutes sailing. Yeah, minimum support for an ongoing investigation, and besides, she has a proclivity to find things everyone else has overlooked. 10 minutes. And if you attempt to pass this door or that one up there, I can guarantee you'd walk out. Can't guarantee you walk out of here alive. Thank you very much, High Regent. Just get on with it. My time here is practically up, and I find nothing of use. It seems Agathon was completely dedicated to his work. Even his personal quarters are as bare as it gets. No personal touch whatsoever. Nothing I could go by. It's all research. He seems like such a bore. Focus, Julia. What would you do if you were a warlock workaholic? Where would you leave clues to your whereabouts? What would you do if you found yourself in a mortal danger and wanted Dakota to know? It's loose. Was that? Yeah. It was facing this way. I approached the place where I saw the shadow silhouette appear. It's a brick wall, and one of the bricks is loose. Kadir and Ailis is in another room right now, still discussing the party. It's not that bad. You ought to learn how to find humor in these little things. It's demeaning, Sheriff. That's all there is to it. It's time. I work the brick loose until I can grip it. Then I tug at it as silently as possible, revealing a hole in the wall. Inside, there's a book. I browse through it quickly. Agathon's diary. That's a bingo. Your 10 minutes are up, so are you 50 minutes in fact? Are you done here? If I could just get 5 more minutes, I feel like I could stumble upon something here if I just look a little more. No way, Julia. Time to go. Fine. I put the brick back and take the diary with me. It did look like Agathon left it so that someone in the chantry could find it, presumably the High Regent. But my investigation takes priority for now. I bid Kadir and Ailing adieu and start looking for a secluded place to read the diary. And I think that's a good place to end tonight's episode. And if you liked what you heard and saw, trigger like below and follow for more of this kind of content. And thank you for tonight.